Thank you, Bob, for that beautiful music. It was caressing my soul. And the mindfulness bell is a practice that we do that was given to me by Thich Nhat Hanh, one of my teachers. It is designed to take us into present moment awareness. And it is a practice that I hold most dear. It's a simple act of stopping, turning within, and meeting that still small voice that doesn't get louder, but gets clearer when our mind becomes still and our heart opens wide. Above my head is the calligraphy done by Thich Nhat Hanh himself that says, "I have arrived, I am home." And we ring the bell to go home to that beautiful sacred awareness that is our true nature. And that is a practice. When people meditate, they are going to that still point and inviting that field of awareness to assist them in assuming the consciousness that they need to meet life. And life can be really crazy sometimes. And so that simple act of stopping and going within is such a profound practice for all of us. It's so funny, in the silence that I rest in, I hear that music still reverberating in my soul. And I know now why people play music in the home. It establishes a vibration. There is a chant that we do here at the center that says, "Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know." In our non-dual class that we just finished, they say the most powerful thing that you can say is, "I am here." The I am is this divine presence that is everywhere. It's not some separate thing that's in a place called heaven. No, the I am is what we are. And so when we say, "I am here," we've taken that true nature into present moment awareness, and we are abiding in love, in light, in presence. And that's the name of the game, to be here now. That was Ram Dass's first book. And his last book was called Be Love Now. And my beloved spiritual son, Mark Accomando, sent me a video of Ram Dass at the very end of his life. And in that video, he says, "I am love. You are love. All there is love." And if God is love, well, then we get to just open. Now, Donna and I both teach heart math, and the heart knows oneness, whereas the mind wants to argue with you. "Well, I didn't think that way. I was raised to think this way." Well, stop thinking and just open to this felt awareness And let your attention, we have a little goofball here, and he may be running up and down the aisles, but he's pure love incarnate. His name is Herman. Oh, he embodies dog, and dog spelled backwards is I wonder. I still feel my beloved Humphrey. He's been gone a month and 10 days now, and yet I feel his sweet soul with me, and I consider that a gift because he's reminding me that we don't die. Yes, our physical body leaves, but our spirit is still here. And so I smile for this awareness that gets stronger. And so let your attention this Sunday be on that evolutionary part of your being. Dr. Ernest Holmes calls it emergent evolution. And it gets stronger. It's not about you. It's never been about you, my Sufi teacher Llewellyn said. It's about the beloved. And the beloved is another name for the I am. And so when we know ourselves as the beloved, as the I am, well, then we just open to the mystery of belonging to the universe. In the men's room, there's a huge poster of Albert Einstein. And there's a saying at the bottom of the poster that says, what we are is the universe, the one life. And the only obstacle to that realization is this idea of my thoughts and my conclusions about a separate self that has preferences. And when that falls away and we open our heart, we realize that it is all the one life and we are all part of that. So he invites us to open our heart and feel the inner beingness. Thich Nhat Hanh would say, we inner are. In our revealing service, several people were rescuing little birds that needed some love. And I thought, what a beautiful story of inner beingness. They're all our children and we are all the mother. And so we open to this sense of belonging and to this journey, the journey to nowhere. Bless you. The journey to now here. Take a deep integrating breath. Give a sigh for the divine, and open your eyes. And I'm going to ask Bob and Kelly to start us off with a Jack Fowler song that I love. He would always open his, boy, he would love to come here. Jack's a dear friend of mine. So thank you for choosing to launch us.
I'm so sorry. That's why that was there. Okay. We come together in this moment. We bind our hearts and minds, for we all form a tapestry woven from one line, one creation, undivided, all unique expressions of God. We all come together now in one accord. I invite you to sing with me. We come together.
come together in this moment.
We bind our hearts.
We bind our hearts and
minds. We all form a tapestry.
we all form a tapestry
Woven from one life.
woven from one life.
One creation. One creation. Undivided. Undivided. All unique expressions. All unique expressions of God. Yeah. We come together. We all come together now in one accord. In one accord. Let's do that one more time. We come. Hold on. Start together. We come together. Ready, go. We
come together
in this moment.
moment.
We bind our hearts.
We bind our hearts
and minds. We form a tapestry.
we all form a tapestry
Woven from one life.
woven from one life.
One creation.
One creation
Undivided.
undivided,
All unique.
all unique expressions of God.
We come together.
We come together now
In one accord. In one
accord. Oh, yes. So let's raise our little fingers and wiggle them. That's the silent way of applauding. Bravo. Thank you, Jack Fowler, for reminding us that we are all one life. So I've been trying to go back to basics since we had our bicentennial plus 50, whatever that is. It's got a name. Something septeminal. Anyway. And so this is Dr. Ernest Holmes, the philosophy of our teaching. And we've been around a very, very long time. And sometimes it's nice to go right back to the basics. You know, like when they did our democracy, you know, the Declaration of Independence, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Well, they evolved that to say men and women are created equal, endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So it started there. It's so interesting. On CNN last night, they had a tribute to the royal family with all of them, Princess Diana ad nauseum, and it showed how we evolve in our relationship to England. And so what if it's one big evolution? The same thing with the science of mind. So here's Dr. Ernest Holmes at the very beginning, Judy Graff. This is what he says that we're all about. So see how this feels. He says, now, what do we teach? Well, it's really very simple. God is all there is. There isn't anything else. There never was and there never will be. Well, I think that's pretty juicy, isn't it? It's all one life. That's the same thing that Albert Einstein was saying. And he says, that is what I am. There is nothing else that I can be. I am compelled to be that. I have nothing to do with it. I have no virtue great enough to make it, and no vice bad enough to destroy it. So whoever you are, you're one with it. You didn't earn it. And when the psychological reaction of condemnation is done away with in the world, well, hell will have then cooled off. You mean we're getting rid of hell? Oh, I think that is kind of funny. And the devil will be out of business. Oops. I think that is funny, Barbara. Devil's out of business, and present-day evangelism will have been rolled up like a scroll and numbered with the things that were once thought to be real. Oops. Something new and grand will have now appeared, and we teach that we are the forerunners of this new race of humans. We are the arbiters of a fate of the unborn generations. We are the custodians of the chalice of truth itself, but we are not hung on a cross. We have a song to sing, we have a joy to bring to the world, and we have love, peace, and happiness. And our work is love. Well, that's how he starts it off. Our work is love. And so, just with that awareness, to step out of that which was given to us and to step into something that is so much bigger, so much more inclusive. God has no religion, which is a wonderful song that James Twyman wrote. So when you step out of religion, I was driving to the center this morning and they were talking about bringing back, we have separation of church and state in America. Well, now they're talking about bringing it back in, but they want to have it church and state. They want it to be Christian churches. So they had this person speaking who was a professor at one of the universities say, no, you can't just have the Christians and the state. You have to have it a much bigger palette. Invite all the spiritual communities. So I think it's time to keep them still separate because, they have certain judgments, and I'm not going to tell you what they are. Oy vey. But anyway, so I go to Science of Mind, which is this wonderful magazine that I get monthly, and it's like an old friend. And John Waterhouse, my dear spiritual brother, he's doing the daily treatments, and I've been reading them every single day, and it feels like he's with me in the kitchen. Don't you feel that way, Sylvia? He's a dear friend, and I want to give you the taste of how he interprets this, just a taste. He says, we direct our own lives. And Julian of Norwich, it's one of my favorites, 650 years ago. She said, all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. So this too is good. This too is God. I demand to see the blessing. Could we know that all is well no matter what's going on? Even when everything seems to fall apart, all is well. And so he takes Ernest Holmes. Ernest Holmes says this, we believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. So what if we could see that life is here for us, that nothing is going to condemn us? That's right, Herman. And Herman might come and give you a little love, and that's in divine order. So here's John Waterhouse's little interpretation. He says, Julian of Norwich, some 650 years ago, through her direct mystical experiences, described divine reality as unchanging goodness. Even in the medieval times in Europe, she experienced the divine not as a punitive power, resistant or indifferent, but a benevolent and loving presence. So she's taking us to that awareness that God isn't going to punish you and throw you in hell, Miss Judy. He's going to love you. And here's his take on it. Dr. Holmes also saw this eternal presence as a compassionate force demonstrating through its eternal loving kindness and givingness without influencing our choices or directions. To me, the good of God is that we direct our lives through a creative mind that transforms what we express into what we experience, and it is always good. His affirmation then is, it is my divine nature to be eternally good, kind, generous, and life-affirming. So how does that feel? My Zen calendar yesterday just was a little Godsmack, and I thought I had to share it with you. Joseph Campbell, the wonderful, said this, we must be willing to get rid of the life that we have planned so as to have a life that has always been waiting for us. Don't you love that, Donna? Get rid of the life that you planned so you can have the life that's been waiting for you. Holy cow. Can I shake that off, Bob? Something bigger is trying to get you. And here's what he said just yesterday. Trust in this divine essence. And he quotes Plotinus, one of my favorites. The soul is not something that comes to be, but it's something that already is. And by turning inward, it shapes its own life. We're spiritual beings. We're having a human experience. So could we turn to this soulful awareness that's always been waiting for us? And it's been with us lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. Ooh. So here's Dr. Ernest Holmes' take on it. We believe in a one soul and one spirit and one destiny. So there's one spirit operating through manifest universe, and the spirit moves through soul. The symbol of the yantra of our teaching is spirit moving in through soul manifests as our experience. So that's kind of the symbol of our teaching. It's the spirit, this invisible presence moving through soul, which is spirit within us, and it manifests as the life that we're experiencing. So here's John Waterhouse's little take. Soul is synonymous with our inner beingness, where we receive our experience and from which we learn to grow into a greater sense of the self, a greater sense of spirit and its divine nature, the God of our being, the oneness of us all. Destiny is not imposed upon us, but it unfolds as our soul awakens to its only spiritual magnificence. So here's that idea. You let go of the life that you planned, so the life that's been waiting for you, that soulful life, can discover you. Holy cow. And it's always been that way, Donna. From the time I was a little boy, I had to let go of that plan, and it never changed. So at the very end, he says, Dr. Holmes is calling each one of us to trust that this divine essence of our being wants to live confidently without fear of failure, to walk the path with clarity and purpose. And the more we awaken to this magnificence of our divine nature, the more expansive our self-awareness becomes, and we meet our destiny. Holy cow. Oh, kind of just breathe that in. You're meeting your destiny. That we're here together in that one life, learning to splash in the water of life and not be afraid. And the affirmation then for is, I trust in the wisdom of my soul, and I honor the spirit of my being. My destiny now unfolds in perfect harmony. Boy, make that little affirmation. My destiny unfolds in perfect harmony because I trust that which is my true nature. So the theme for this month is you are the one that you've been looking for. And I talked about the premise must be God the first week, that it's all God. Second week, I talked about the focus must be you, because this is the life that you've been given. And today I'm looking at the idea, and the purpose must be growth, must be evolution, must be expansive participation. You know, Don and I were thrown into the heart math thing by coincidence, and it became a life-changing thing for both of us because it changed the whole way I relate to everyone. And so what if, when we're not even expecting it, something greater comes along? And it's always been that way. So I pulled out The Enlightened Heart by one of my teachers, Stephen Mitchell, and he talks about that very thing. He said, trust this life is going to give you what you need, even though you may not ask for it. Here's this little affirmation. So let's go of our longings and our aversions, and everything will then be perfectly clear. He says, the struggle between good and evil is the primal disease of our minds. We don't have to fight that anymore. Not grasping the deeper meaning, you just trouble your mind's serenity as a vast, infinite space, and it is perfect and it lacks nothing. So we're going into this vastness of our beingness, and we're opening to it. I can see Kelly's right there. Because you select and reject, you can perceive its true nature. So don't get entangled in the world. Don't lose yourself in the emptiness. Rather, be at peace in the oneness of all things, and then all errors will naturally just disappear by themselves. We don't have to struggle against the stuff that we don't agree with, Robert. We just let it go. It doesn't belong to us. So when someone wants to try to hand you this karma, you say, madam, I don't want your karma. It's not mine. So if you don't live, and he talks about, he's a Taoist, if you don't live the Tao means that it's all the one, the yin yang, the black, the white, the masculine, the feminine, it's all part of this. If you don't live the Tao, well, then you fall into assertions of denial, asserting that this world is real and you are blind to its deeper reality. So we need to let go of that old way of thinking. The more you think about these matters, the further you are from the truth. So we don't have to struggle with all the stuff that's going on in the country. And when someone wants to come over and stomp their feet and go on and on and on, and so many do, step aside from all that thinking, he says, and breathe in and breathe out. I put that in there. And there is nowhere then you can't go. So returning to the root, you find the meaning. Chasing appearances, you lose the source. So when you return to the root within yourself, you find the meaning. When you chase after the appearances, you're going to get all distracted by the outer. At that moment of profound insight, you then transcend both appearance and the emptiness. So don't keep searching for the truth, but let go of all your opinions. So in other words, we have to die daily to be born again in this awareness. And the beautiful thing there is we're not struggling. We're not making an enemy out of the outside. And he says, you can then trust the universe completely. All at once, you are free with nothing left to hold on to. You are empty, brilliant, and perfect in every way. And if you want to describe its essence, you can simply say, not to. The essence of truth is it's not to. It's all the one. And in this not to, nothing then is separate, and nothing in the world is excluded. There is no here, there is no there, infinitely infinity is right before your own eyes. So we're taking into this infinite awareness that look at that little dog lying on the floor. That's infinite love lying there in our midst. He's not struggling with right or wrong, good or bad, yours or mine. He's just love unfolding in this sacred space. So that's the enlightened heart. And that's the place of non resistance. I went to Adyashanti, the man that I studied with for years and years in California, and his little book, Falling into Grace. And I wanted to get his insight on this next phase of growth. I love it. What happens when you let go of your argument about what is? He says, just let whatever is be. It is what it is. And he says, and what you will begin to experience then is a peace and a stillness and a deep sense of inner quietness. You're not pulled out by the storm on the outside. You can see it for what it is, but you abide. Bob kind of abides in that quiet place. I go to him when I want to find it, but he can get out there. But we choose to stay here, that inner place, a deep inner quietness. And in that moment, you're experiencing a whole different dimension of consciousness, one that is beyond the ego and beyond the activity of resistance and judgment. You let go of all that struggle. You keep the storm on the outside, you don't put it on the inside. And then Ajahn says this, then you can open to a state of being where there are no conclusions, where your mind is completely wide open, and where your consciousness is at ease, and where you can begin to touch upon a whole new dimension of consciousness, a consciousness that is actually living in peace. Ooh, to go to a place of peace, breathe into that. He goes on to say this, that this is an invitation to just be, and he puts in all capital letters, to be the consciousness, and also to act from that consciousness. And once you taste this stillness, this peace, then the ego will stand out in stark contrast to it. You'll see that little nattering nabob of negativity that says, no, it matters. It all matters. Blah, 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 and you are the awareness of that little voice. Ah, yes. The vortex of suffering will then be much easier to see because you put it on the outside. You may go unconscious for moments. You may not always see the ego trying to hijack you with its various thoughts and concerns. But even when that happens, if you just stop for a moment and see the pattern on the energy, then a gap begins to open up. You see, oh, I'm getting off in my little nattering, crazy place again, but you're the awareness of that self. That's huge. This is a doorway to a different possibility, he says, a possibility to experience peace and happiness for which you've always been longing, even when you are right in the middle of a conflict. And this is called minding the gap. You mind, so when the mind wants to go crazy, you can be the awareness of that mind that goes crazy, and you don't have to go crazy with it. I've been married to my beloved husband for 50 years, and he shows me that every single day when he goes off on these tangents, and I get to be that quiet place and not dive into there. Because, you know, you can go kind of crazy in your reactions and in your resistance to what is, or you can just see it's what it is. Oh, look at the baby on the floor. And so I'm going to close with my beloved John O'Donohue. Oh, he was a Franciscan monk who left the monastery because he says there was too much sin there and he couldn't handle it. And he became a poet. And he wrote this beautiful book, Walking in Wonder. And he has a beautiful way of stepping out of that old way of thinking that's in resistance and judgment into a place of wonder and awe that will set us free into a new, expansive way to participate with life. He's truly a living saint, even though he's not here on form. He says this, I also think trees have incredible, he was talking about seeing God in everything. He said, I think that the landscape is an incredible mystical teacher. And when you begin to tune in to a sacred presence, then something shifts within inside you. At this time in nature, to go for a walk in nature and see it as a mute gospel, it's all preaching. The flowers are blooming, the birds are giving. I mean, it's truly. And so he says, we are guests of the universe. He's British. I probably should put him in. We are guests of the universe, and the landscape is the firstborn of creation. And it was here for hundreds of millions of years before we were. So it knows what it actually is going on. So to put it in a theological way, I feel that the landscape is always a prayer, and its prayer is seamless. It is always enfolded in the presence of life. It is the high work of the imagination of the universe because there is no repetition. in a landscape. Every stone, every tree, every field is a different expression. So when your eyes begin to become attentive to this panorama of differentiation, then you realize what a privilege it is to actually be here on planet Earth. And then he does his beautiful little poetic prayer at the end. And his prayer is for a new beginning. He says, in the out of way places in the heart, where your thoughts never think to wander, this beginning has been quietly forming, waiting until you were ready to emerge. That's the wisdom of the heart, Donna, that's been waiting for us to go there. For a long time, it has watched your desires, feeling the emptiness growing inside you, noticing how you willed yourself on, still unable to leave what you had outgrown. Anybody there struggling with stuff they've already outgrown? And he says, it watched you play with the seduction of safety and the gray promises that sameness whispered. It heard the waves of turmoil rise and relent. It wondered, would you always live like this? Then, the delight, when your courage kindled within you, and out you stepped onto new ground. Your eyes were young again with energy and dreams. A path of plenitude was opening before you. Though your destination is not yet clear, you trust the promise of this opening. You unfurl yourself into the grace of a new beginning, and this is at one with life's desire. We open to the greater vision that life had for us, and in this, we awaken our spirit to adventure. We hold nothing back. We learn to find ease and risk, and soon we find a home in a new rhythm. For our soul senses the world that awaits us, with the gateways of wonder and the doorways to presence. Within us, we honor, we trust, and we are one with all that is. And so something emerges into that wonder and awe of what it is. So, Bob, you want to play a little something, and we'll do a little collection, and then I'll do a little thing. Yeah, so let's just open to the gratitude in the heart, knowing that what we sow is what we reap. And so we give to the source of our good, knowing that it returns to us multiplied abundantly. My favorite thing is to write my tithe check every Sunday. So Paula and Richard are going to walk down the aisle, and if you have something you'd like to leave the center, you can leave it there. Oh, the beautiful music that Bob is playing feeds our soul. That beautiful divine presence is awaiting, and we are listening. Okay, Richard, you can ring the bell. There's the bell again, calling us to go home. We feel that presence. It is peace itself, where love abides. And where this divine imagination flowers. So it's not something we create, it's something that we awaken. The divine imagination. The love that knows no other. And that profound peace that even in the craziest wild times, we can take refuge in that peace and feel connected to our true nature. And so, as we sing, we come together in these moments to bind our hearts and minds because we all form a family woven from one life. All unique expressions of God. We come together in the one life and we smile. Simple moments like this, we affirm, I have arrived, I am home. In the one life, we share the one life. I am is here. So Herman is coming up to let me know that he's part of that one life. Yes, Herman. And we look around us and we see that one life in nature, flowering, singing, expressing, revealing that we are all this one life. And in that awareness, we experience an inner beingness. And we smile because we know that I am you, you are me, we are one. And so we take a deep integrating breath. We give a sigh for the divine, arriving at that awareness. Take another deep integrating breath. And give a beautiful releasing sigh. Oh, it feels so good. And now shake your body a little bit. Get anchored in your body. Because we're going to stand up and we're going to make a circle of love. The circle is the oldest symbol for God.